So I promise you guys more interesting videos, but I have the personality of a saltine cracker and the schedule of an OCD guy in denial. I ate the exact same thing that I did last video because consistency is really important when it comes to your nutrition. I had a mass gainer protein shake, MRE, vanilla flavor, 25 grams of creatine added to that bad boy, with 40 ounces of lactose-free milk, calcium enhanced, 2%. And then I had half of a 12 egg quiche, so 6 eggs. 2 meals that are 10 ounces of beef, about a cup to a cup and 3/4 of rice, with potatoes, mini potatoes, 8 ounces. The only difference is last time I ate it with barbecue sauce, and this time I ate it with ketchup. The barbecue sauce is really delicious, right? It's Bullseye barbecue sauce. I made the burgers with Bullseye barbecue sauce, so adding the barbecue sauce on top of the barbecue sauce burgers, because if you've ever made a meatloaf, you're supposed to put a ketchup or some sort of sauce in it. So I use barbecue sauce because it's a meatloaf inspired burger. Hamburgers are basically tiny meatloafs that you put in between bread and put cheese on. And I also had a pint Greek yogurt with blueberries and granola, 1.5 liters of coconut juice or water. And each of those has 31 grams of carbs and a gram of potassium. So I'm well over the recommended 5 grams of potassium. You could probably stick a little probe up next to my body and you get some sort of radiation, because potassium is actually a little bit radioactive. It is squat day today, and if you watched my last video, you would know that today is going to be a puke day. And I say that because it is 50% squats, right? I know what you're saying.
But daddy, it's only 50% squats.
Well, 4x5 plus 1x20 minimal rest. It is one of those auto-regulated rest days. Without the interruption, I really had to poop. Sitting is in the pooping position, and I didn't want to be in the pooping position because I'm in my car, not on a toilet. So it's not good to be in the pooping position. Little reminder that 420 is not a holiday. Unfriend anyone who celebrates it as such. And it is somewhere between 90 and 100 degrees out, which, by the way, someone at work said,
"Oh, it's 90 outside, it's really nice."
Which prompted me to assume that we don't do drug tests at work because they're definitely fucking high. 90 degrees is not good. 75, it's a little toasty, it's nice. Anything between 40 and 70 is a-okay in my book. I don't mind the cold as much as the hot. According to entropy, it is easier to get warmer from a cold state than it is to get colder from a hot state. Most of what you do when you are trying to get colder is just move the air around you. So you don't actually feel colder, you're just mitigating the issue at hand.
Delta S is greater than 0.
So I'm gonna go poop because it's squat day, of course you're gonna poop. And my body has become accustomed to pooping at exactly the moment that I get to the gym. Am I the only one who completely takes my pants off when I poop if I'm changing my pants? Just a little nugget of thought. So it's somewhere between 90 and 100 outside. And in the gym,
If we quickly walk over to the thermostat,
it is 78. And it's only gonna get hotter as we go. Like, I don't like to use spotters at the gym because I don't want to fail. My wife says I have to use spotters, and so does my mom. So I only use spotters on 100% week, mostly because I can't unrack my 100% on bench, and my wife, she will stab me in the kidney if I don't use spotters on squats. I don't doubt myself at all on either of those lifts. And then deadlifts, if you have a spotter on deadlift, I mean, you can pass out, but just find a soft spot in the gym, says the guy who never passed out in the gym. Almost once. That's why I don't latch my belt on deadlifts. The last time that I did that, I almost passed out. But I'm worried about the heat in the gym. You can already see I am glistening. I am glazed. I am a crispy donut, a sweaty donut, because it is so hot in here. And I can't exactly open the gym door for colder outside because it's colder in the gym than it is outside. The only reason not to get reps in the gym is injury, and heat stroke is a temporary injury. So you gotta be careful with your electrolytes. When it's so hot, you gotta stay hydrated. If you're hydrating while you're feeling icky, it's too late. You have to pre-hydrate. I've had over a liter and a half. I've had exactly a liter and a half of coconut water, which is electrolyte rich. And coconut water is kind of this like cult I never read into or believed until I started consuming coconut water. Because the first time you have coconut water, it tastes like dirty cum. I don't know from experience, I know based on stories, it's hearsay. The more you drink the coconut water, the better it tastes, the better it feels in your system. This has been sponsored by nobody because I have no sponsors except your mother. Now we wait for the belly grumbling to dissipate before the 1x20 pull squat. Same weight. The hardest part right now is not puking. I don't like puking. I don't want to puke. It happens, but this heat is just getting to me. If I start, it won't stop. I had to keep the belt on in between sets because I knew if the belly relaxed, things would be spewing. And that's not fun. It makes the whole gym stink too. I once remember either hearing or reading, I feel like it was reading on a bodybuilding.com forum, about toe direction pointing during leg extensions. I haven't tried it, and you know, I squat 1,000, so I'm not sure how much merit it really provokes. I kind of just let my toes do whatever they want. Like, it's like a lady. You just let them do what they want, they'll be happy. But you also gotta kind of feed them too, because a hungry wife is not a happy wife. And though the saying is happy wife, happy life, you both gotta find your individual happiness in order to be truly happy, because if you're not happy alone, you won't be happy together. So this is gonna be, it's less of a powerlifting movement than it is a bodybuilding movement. We're lowering the weight and we're focusing on the hypertrophic muscle fibers. So we're basically gonna be using the arms as if we don't have arms. So it's almost like the arms are rope and they are levers for us to pull upon. So this whole movement is gonna be pinching the scaps. So that's developing the tight back cue for squats and also the tightening cue for back for deadlifts, because on deadlifts you wanna pinch your scaps to take the slack out of the bar, and that prevents your upper back from getting into compromising positions during the deadlift. It's more of a powerlifting movement than a bodybuilding movement because it's working cues rather than muscles, and the muscles develop because of the cues. It's kind of like how neurology has specifically targeted that you don't see things. Your eyes don't connect to your brain connects to your eyes. What happens when you see things like a cat is your brain thinks, this is a cat, this is what a cat should look like, and then your eyes correct it, which is kind of a really cool optimization of functions, but you wouldn't directly think that. So we're working the cue, which will work the muscles, instead of working the muscles that work the cue. You know? See? So we worked the pinch and cue. We did 1 by 25 there, working the movement, and then we superset it with 25 lat pull downs because I felt like it. That ab movement is a alteration on another popular anti-twist ab movement. I don't know what the exact name is of that, but basically what this is. So the anti-twist works your obliques, creates strong side core. Another thing, it makes your obliques strong, which helps stability. What this is instead of pulling you sideways, the vector of gravity on the weight pulls you forward, but you have a pivot point in your hips. There exists a pivot point somewhere on your body. I'm assuming it's on your hips because there's a hinge there. It could be somewhere else in your body. It makes sense at the hips. But when you brace your core properly, you don't bend forward ever so slightly in this movement. So what you do is you extend your arms. If you know anything about torque, the radius, the pivot radius of whatever force is being applied tangent to your circumference of pivot range increases the amount of torque on the system, specifically at the pivot point. So if the pivot point's at your hip, you have to use your core, which is very close to your hip comparatively to a weight extended beyond your body, to not bend forward, not be pulled forward by the tangent vector due to gravity on your circle of motion. So there's a radial motion going on there, but your core is preventing the radial motion going on. So you've got a vector at the radius from your hips to the tip of the weight going down due to gravity, and your core is providing an upwards pivot or upwards vector to the force of gravity equal to whatever that weight is. So, I mean, given this is limited due to the strength of your shoulders, assuming your core is stronger than your shoulders, which it should be, especially if you're fat like me, we hold it for time a little bit. We do a little pause, because when you squat, you're bracing the whole time. That's a pause on your bracing, you're deadlifting, you're bracing, you're pausing your braces, you're holding them for extended periods of time. So when you're doing brace work, such as this exercise, you have to wait and pause your braces to effectively provide a mechanically similar movement to whatever movement you're doing. It's probably got a real name out there. I'm not the smartest person in lifting, and I'm not the first person to think of these things. I might just be the first to break it down scientifically and show what's going on. Because it's not gonna be isolated to just your core, your erectors are also gonna be working. So it's limiting based on your shoulder strength and how well you can extend your arms out. Try and do this exercise without bracing. You're gonna fall forward, you're gonna cave in, or you're gonna stress your erectors out pretty much. Is it doable? Have people done this with kettlebells? Comment below. I need to know, because your lifting knowledge is probably bigger than mine, because I basically just do missionary in the gym, missionary position, because I'm literally only doing squat, bench, and deadlift, mechanically similar movement, targeted accessory, like it was squat day, so we did leg accessory. On bench day, we do arms and shoulder accessory. On deadlift day, we do hamstring accessory or glute accessory. And then abs, I'm gonna be honest, for a while I didn't do abs, which caused my herniated disc. So do abs, because you don't want the core of a child. You don't want to herniate discs. You want to be a healthy lifter. I want you to be healthy. Injury sucks, so we got to prevent it. Prevention is easier than recovery. Said everyone ever, but it's true. Hey, what up? It's my boy. I am now done in the gym. It's past my bedtime, but I've been doing less lollygagging in the gym, and now that the sun is down, it's not as hot in here, and I'm not feeling heat strokey, so I'm not nervous about that right now. Probably also because I'm also done squatting. I've done less lollygagging in the gym, or putzing around, fooling around, procrastinating, procrastilifting. I've done less of that recently, which is a good personal growth for me. The gym is my happy place, and I need to extend my happy place to more than just the gym, because I'm only in the gym like 1 to 3 hours a day, 3 hours usually on super heavy squat days. My upstairs neighbors, specifically the wife, is terrorizing my wife and I, calling my landlord, my mom, countless times every day, absolutely shit-faced at 9 in the morning, talking about ants. We don't have a single ant in our place. They're overrun with mites from their dog. We don't have a single mite, we don't have ants, we have no flies. We actually take really good care of the food and food receptacles that we use. So she's complaining about pretty much nothing, but she's delusional and she's harassing us. She's actually peeping in on our windows and calling my landlord mom and saying, step up and tell your kids to fucking clean their place. No, the only mess in our place is clean laundry that hasn't been put away yet, because the basket gets full and the wife kind of just dumps it on a chair and it just looks messy, but there's no plates around, there's no food waste around. I'll see you guys at home, maybe with food. I don't know, I tend to forget to record things, so you'll see what you're gonna see and you're gonna like it because daddy said so.